Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. It's 20 episodes in. You know that I brought a Chillmonger, right?
Live from the home of the 2019 NBA champions and reigning NBA champions, because
That's
sports is
true.
sports is delayed, so we're still on
Sports
top.
sports is canceled, so the Raptors are still the freaking winners. That is something. As it's been a year today from the time of us doing this, right?
No other team can claim that.
That oh, man. Like they finally win something and they're like, you know what?
We win.
Participation. Yeah, right. Like hammer it in. Geez, Drake is up there. We really the North. Freaking Drake. Oh man, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I hope you guys are on a really long road trip or you have plenty of time on your hands because, brah, there is so much that happened in comic book news. Hit me.
Man, oh, rest in peace to Denny O'Neil.
100%. Yes, this has to be the first thing that we talk about. If there's nothing else you listen to the podcast, well, then shame on you. But at the very least, Denny O'Neil, man, Dennis O'Neil just died a couple days ago from the time of this recording. This guy is a pioneer. He died at 81 years old, June 11th on 2020 for Thursday night. For those of you who are tuning in like years later to see this, this guy has contributed so much to comic books. It's ridiculous. I'm going to get into a couple of those things now. He worked on Batman the animated series, writing a bunch of stories for them. He wrote for a bunch of other series also, Logan's Run being some of them. A lot of stuff. He was an art teacher at the Manhattan School of Visual Arts. He is the co-creator of Ras Al Ghul, Talia Al Ghul, Leslie Tompkins, Azrael, and Richard Dragon. That's just in DC. In Marvel, he co-created Madam Web, Hydro Man, Obadiah Stane, Lady Deathstrike. He came up with the name and the original plot for Optimus Prime in the Transformers.
Whoa.
To get into more things in general, he hired Frank Miller for Daredevil over in Marvel, which changed the game in comic books, brought it back to darker roots. Long before Frank Miller got onto Batman over in DC, he was working on Daredevil, and Denny O'Neil is the guy who approved of his vision and said, yes, let's do it. He gave the go-ahead to Jim Starlin to kill Jason Todd when he was the editor over there. He paired with Neil Adams. I always have to look at my picture of Muhammad Ali versus Superman to remember his name for some reason. But he and Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, they did the Hard Traveling Heroes, which is the pairing of Green Lantern and Green Arrow to tackle issues of politics and social justice. Way back in the day, you may have seen that old comic book of Speedy, the Red Arrow, addicted to heroin, injecting himself with a needle, and Green Arrow and Green Lantern. They were like, wait, what? It was Denny who wrote that comic book. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, Chill, but there was the comic book where Green Arrow was bringing Green Lantern all throughout the neighborhoods and saying, you're off in space so often, like you don't know what's actually happening on your home planet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one black guy who's seeing, Hal Jordan. He's like, man, you help the purples and you help the greens and you help all these other guys, but what have you done for the blacks? And it's like, holy crap. And like,
Then,
there's a big deal. That was Denny O'Neil.
what year was that?
Oh, that was way back in the day, dude. I don't know. Was this in the 70s? This might have been in the 70s.
Before the YouTubers could get online and say that they're injecting politics into my comics, guys.
Yeah,
This
that's
is a
never
little bit
happened before.
much.
Never
I'm
happened
just,
before.
I just want to read a good story that doesn't make me feel like a racist piece of shit.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy Carter, Presidential Library, actually made Denny O'Neil the key speaker at the Comic Books and Social Justice Weekend in December of 2018. So I don't know what some of these YouTubers are talking about. These are people who, like, when I fart, this is pretty much how they talk because this is them talking out their ass. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm the guy who puts bubble gum up his ass because I like to pop shit. And I'm popping shit at those
I was
guys.
so lost. Where were you going with that one? Was
That's
that going to
actually
be?
That's actually from an old song from the Black Sheep.
Mm.
But also in Phoenix, Arizona, the 25th of May, 2019, was named Denny O'Neil Day. Like
Hey.
this guy, and this is, I'm telling you, if this is half of his accomplishments, I'd be surprised because he's got a very long and storied career. He is one of the people who I really wanted to be able to interview one day, just sit down and just pick his brain. I will never get that opportunity now. This is genuinely an entire generation, entire age, and all the history that he knew gone with his passing. Like, it's a genuinely sad day.
You never had the chance to? Did he ever go to cons and do signatures and things like that?
Nobody up by me ever since I came back from the Middle East. So yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I never got into talking about writers or artists or anybody until I actually started up my channel. And I was just like, I'm starting to notice that I really like this guy and this guy and this guy. Huh. And then I got the chance to actually go to some, cons and start to think about trying to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the Easter egg of everything just opening up, the tape unraveling. It's like, wow. As much as I think I know about comic books, all I know are the stories. All I know are the artists I like. I don't actually know enough of the history of this stuff. And that's when I decided to start looking it up and talking to these people.
You know more than the editors know.
I don't know about that. Not more than that editor. Not more than Denny O'Neil. But I'm telling you, man, boom. Rest in peace to Denny O'Neil. That is heartbreaking. Died at 81 years old, man. All right, what else we have on the docket?
I tried to slickly move over to Comic Cons, but
I apologize, but I have the self-awareness of a fish stick, so that just went right over my head.
All right, we're 0 for 1 with segues so far, but we got like 20 topics today, so we'll get there. Comic-Con, the one that was happening in San Diego that was supposedly canceled and everyone stay at home, will do it online. All of a sudden, and I do believe that all the protests...
We're still doing it online.
We're still doing it online?
We're actually going to do it online. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to do it at all because this is the biggest Comic-Con right now. San Diego Comic-Con, SSDC, is the biggest Comic-Con in the world. That's the one where they announce all of the new movies coming out. Marvel has typically, not always, there was one year where they didn't. They typically announce all their new movie slots there. DC always does. Yeah, it's a big deal. What, you were doing some math there?
He said SSDC, and I'm like, how does that work out? San Diego.
San Diego Comic-Con, SDCC. My bad.
Ding.
Hey, bring me back to reality. SDCC. Yes,
so
San Diego Comic-Con.
From my understanding, they're anticipating that there's going to be a whole lot of new cases in, I think it's the end of July, right? Yeah,
there is going to, so the COVID situation, there is, of course, we know it's going to come back at some point.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say. I thought that we're not coming back anymore. I checked the numbers, at least locally here. We're down to 200. Like the highest it was in the 600s for Ontario. So that's great news. I can see the decline.
That's great here, but it's a lot worse in the States. Not everywhere. It's the worst in the States. Yeah, just it is what it is. And I don't want to necessarily get into the politics of that here. You can go to my Twitch channel, guys, to see me or to hear me talk about politics. I'd rather try and keep this, although there's only but so much you can do. Some things just bleed into and it's like whatever. And I'm sure that with the situation of the world today, we're going to get into some of that stuff. But I do have some good news and some bad news in regards to San Diego Comic-Con.
What's the good news?
Well, no. We're going to do the... Okay, fine. We'll do the good news first. You're right. You always do the right. You usually do the bad news first, rip off the Band-Aid, but let's do the good news first. So, good news. San Diego Comic-Con, SDCC. I actually wrote it down. SDCC. Duh. It is still happening. More good news. It's still going to be on July the 22nd through the 26th, and it's going to be online and all that good stuff. Okay, bad news. It's going to be free. Oh, wait, no, I don't have any bad news. All good news. It's going to be free. San Diego Comic-Con is going to be free for all of us. We all get to attend. Hopefully, they're going to fix their bandwidth because let's be realistic. All these other Comic-Cons have had plenty of experiences. Comic-Con is usually like an international thing. They should know by now, even their WonderCon, not a huge con particularly, that wound up getting overtaxed. Bunch of things will be pre-recorded, whatever. I'm down with it. Dude, it's going to be free. We all get to go to San Diego Comic-Con this year.
I love
That
that.
is huge. That is awesome.
I hope they build on this because last year when they were revealing Phase 4 at Comic-Con, there was no live stream of it. And of course, there were certain things that we were not allowed to watch. There were trailers that they said, everyone put your phones away while this Black Widow trailer, while this something else was playing. And they told us we cannot record it. So of course, those things won't be showing on the live stream. But at least let me see as these actors get welcomed to the stage so I can be happy when I see Kit Harington show up.
Yeah, 100%. And I wouldn't have a problem if next year they were to continue doing something like this, but put some of it behind a paywall. You know, put some of it free, put some of it behind a paywall. Why not?
I wouldn't.
Well, then you wouldn't pay, but some of us would. You know what I'm saying? Give press passes like that, you know, for some of us, whatever. I think that is a great idea to do it free this year. I think it's very, very cool of them. They didn't have to, but I'm glad they did. And hopefully this gives them what they need so that next year they can make some of the experience free for everybody, because we can't all go to San Diego Comic-Con, but we all want to. We all wish we could, you know? Yeah, hey, there's a comic skater who actually showed his face just to be able to go to San Diego Comic-Con for free. I'm saying that's a big deal.
I like to not talk about comic skaters, give them attention. But okay.
You already brought him up when we were talking about Denny O'Neil. Anyway, you said certain YouTubers. But no, this is, for me, I think this is a big deal. And again, it does open them up so they could put a few things behind a paywall. Like, hey, if you want to watch this interview with, you know, whatever, like, you know, Donny Cates is going to be, you know, on a panel answering questions, and you could ask questions too if you're, you know, if you pay like, you know, $2 to be in the stupid thing. Boom,
Super
let's
chat.
do it. Yeah. Absolutely. To get you, to get onto the stream, boom. To actually have a question asked, super chat of such and such or above.
Now you know somebody's screen name is going to be Noob Master 69, right?
Is that your alt? What else we got besides Comic-Con, man?
Shoot, Brian Michael Bendis, the Superman writer extraordinaire, the Cleveland native.
I salute. Yep, and Portland, Oregon now. Like, just farewell, Mr. Bendis. He's still going to be in DC. He's still going to be around doing his thing, but he is leaving Superman properties as of right now. I don't know if he's going to still be in Justice League, or not Justice League, Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, he'll probably still be in the Legion of Superheroes. He shouldn't leave that. That is his baby, you know? Maybe on Naomi also, I don't know. But
that's all I care about.
Yeah, he is going to be out of that. He's not going to be doing the the Action Comics or the Superman comic books right now. So good. Somebody else to come in. I've complained about him. A lot of us have complained about him. I saw your review of Excalibur. It was live. Somebody asked, you know, hey, what about, I just got Action Comics. Like, I don't read Action Comic book, but go check out Professor Bill even dropped Action. Yeah, I dropped Superman Action Comics. I've never done that in my entire life, but Bendis was killing me so much. I love the guy. God bless him. Give him all the health in the world. I hope that he starts doing some comic books that, you know, we're all going to enjoy again, but I did not enjoy him on Superman. I just hated it. So, you know, thanks. Hated it.
What does he go to next? Like, usually you're supposed to build up and then you give them the big thing. Like Hickman took him so a while. I mean, he did the FF, so that's not nothing. He did the Avengers, and then he did the X-Men, who are that's where I rank them, right up here. See, X-Men are up here.
Oh yeah.
And then the rest of Marvel is there. It's so like when you got Bendis, who was doing all these Marvel stories, Ultimate Spider-Man, and then he did some Daredevil, had the long run at Avengers, and then he got the X-Men, right? But then he joins DC, and he jumps straight into the Superman, greatest superhero of all time. Where do you go from there?
Well, they thought that he was going to go to Batman. Dan DiDio actually said, "You want Batman, right?" He's like, "No, actually, I want Superman." He's like, "Really? Okay, it's yours." It didn't even, like, he approved it before he told the other people, "Hey, sorry to break your heart, but you're out." Wow.
Was that Tomasi and
that
Gleason?
was that was a couple of people. That was a couple of people who were doing those two comics. So anyway, I'm thinking that Bendis should go into, like I've said many times before, he should do his own universe. Not just like a Bendis verse with his own creator owned characters. Sure, do that because that works. His Wonder Comics. Absolutely, do that stuff. But no, more than that. Actually have him do, or Jinx Comics, whatever it is. Anyway.
No, it's Wonder.
Yeah, Wonder is one of the lines. But that's still in the DC universe. Like he's got.
You mean right outside the universe, not just like a nickname imprint?
No, yeah, he does like Pearl and stuff, and I forget. I think that's called Jinx World or something like that. I don't remember what that's called, but anyway,
okay.
He's got his own characters that he does also, which people love. So hey, do it. But I think that he should have his own universe, much like the Ultimate Universe. He created that, not realizing he was going to create that. He was just going to do Spider-Man. By all means, give him his own universe in the DC universe. Call it Bendis Worlds as opposed to Elseworlds. You know what I'm saying? Call whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I would read it. I promise you I would read that, because if I'm reading whatever he's reading and not constantly thinking, but that flies in the face of all these other writers who wrote this, and there's no way to rectify it. There's no way to headcanon it. I can't stay in that universe anymore. So yeah, nope. Just give him his own universe. Let him go crazy. I will read the hell out of those books, and I can almost promise I will love them. Boom. Bendis is a good writer. I don't care what anybody says.
And he's not afraid to create like other writers are.
Correct. He just has a problem with respecting other people, what they've written also. And unfortunately, as comic book fans, most of us are concerned with continuity. One of the main reasons why the MCU works so well, because all the movies bleed into each other so well.
And the DCEU, not so much. They got Joker happening, they got Batman happening at different ages. It's very confusing.
It is really confusing. So, nice segue. I caught that.
Oh God. Again,
I'm gonna call it out.
For 2.
I'm calling it out. Like there was a great one. What else am I supposed to do? Just be like, hey, we should talk about Batman. Come on.
You're supposed to honor the wishes of the.
The audience isn't stupid. They know a segue when they hear one, especially when we start talking about it.
So Batman and its sequels. Tell me about the Joker. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So Matt Reeves's The Batman sequels are going to recast the Joker. It's not going to be not Keanu Reeves. It's not going to be Keanu Reeves, and it's also not going to be Joaquin Phoenix, as I think most of us expected. But they're confirming it now. Todd Phillips was like, no, I never planned on such and such and such. I doubt he would do that, but I'm not going to speak for Joaquin, whatever. Matt Reeves is just like, okay, so I'm going to have the Joker showing up in the next movies, the sequels, but it's not going to be Joaquin Phoenix. I'm going to recast him. Awesome. And a recast, mind you, means it's also not going to be Jared Leto, which I don't think too many of us have a problem with that. I'm sure there's people who love the idea of it, whatever, but I know that Leto was screwed. He was screwed and too many of his parts were cut, and I would love to see the Ayers cut just so that I could actually say with now, there was a lot that I don't know if like, why did he have the smiley face on his hand? Do you know why he had the smiley face tattoo on his hand?
Why?
Because Batman punched out his teeth. That's why he had the metal grill. So before he got the grill, he got the tattoo on his hand of the smile, so that when he smiled and he's talking to Harley, he could, put that up there. And it was really like a way to feel sad for this character. You're not supposed to want to sympathize with him, right? But Ayers did that, and whatever. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was cut out that just, we look at it like, why was he laying there with all those guns and knives pointing at him, right? Maybe that was supposed to make sense in the Ayers cut. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing it just so I could say, loved it or hated it, or, oh, okay, some things make sense, I'm
gonna remain anti-Suicide Squad, anti-Jared Leto, and everything that character had to represent.
That's fine. But yeah, it's not going to be Leto either at this point. So he can go back to putting his eyeliner on and all that other stuff when he was in that
the
band.
fishnet stockings that I'm sure were underneath.
Yeah.
HBO-MAX.
He was a goth boy.
So they're getting rid of Jared Leto. Now that that's being done, Amber Heard being Mira, that might be in the past also. But it's also different standards that they have for women, and distance different than they have for men. Like the fact that Amber Heard did what she did, which was...
Do we know for a fact that she did it?
When we do know for a fact. I heard audio tapes.
That's
But
messed up
once,
when we do know for a fact. So you've already made your decision.
yes, I'm completely convinced that Amber Heard was wrong for this. And if I am wrong, then you guys can laugh at me when that comes out. But I'm pretty sure Amber Heard. Oh my god, it's so complicated because what I think she did to Johnny Depp, yeah,
Mhm.
it's bad on her and everything. But I'm also like looking at Johnny Depp like, bruh, you're Johnny Depp. You don't have to put up with this. You can go. I don't get it. I don't understand how he is.
Maybe he did his own part in this also. Maybe he's not as
Mm,
innocent as we'd like to think.
that's
There's
right.
always his side, her side, and then the truth, you know? So I'm going to wait until all the facts come out and I'm going to read up on those. I'll judge it then. But yeah, I do believe that they should hold off bringing back Amber Heard or Johnny Depp just for now because, yeah, no.
There's an Aquaman movie coming in year 2022.
That can be delayed. All these other movies are being delayed. That can be delayed. I'm okay with that. Just to figure out what's up. Because do we want to recast her if she doesn't deserve to be recast? You know what I'm saying? It's like the cancel culture thing has to stop. But there are some things that need to be canceled, so to speak. You know, like it's
I
one thing
agree.
to cancel something. It's another thing to have the culture involved in it. So yeah, if she did what she did, cancel the hell out of her. Get rid of. No, I don't want her in. I don't want to see her as Mira. You know, I think that she's a beautiful woman. I think she's great as Mira. But Mira is one of my favorite characters, and I don't want to have that stain of this person if she really did all those things that she's purported to have done. So there's
She,
that.
how do I say this? Defecated on the bed sheets of one Johnny Depp,
She
which sucks for the maid who
also
had to clean
apparently
that.
cut off his finger if the reports are true.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, there's a tip of his finger that he went to visit. The video was up on YouTube. He went to visit a fan as Captain Jack Sparrow, and she's like, "What happened to your finger?" And he looks at it. It's like the top part from the knuckle, I think of the ring finger, whatever, of one of his fingers, one of his hands. It's like off, and he's like, "Oh, it's I ate it. I was hungry." He stayed in character. I was
Uh,
lost at sea for too long, and I
yeah,
ate it.
he was on that
It's like
island, right?
that is freaking awesome that he did that. Meanwhile, if he really suffered from the idea that she actually cut it off with a knife and like, wow. So, but again, all this is just purported. Speaking of
That's,
recasting, they recast Batwoman.
ooh,
Yeah.
finally.
Well, no. There is okay. I understand how I messed up with the words. They didn't recast her because they didn't bring Sonya Deville in yet. Still rooting for her. I'm
Mhm.
still rooting for Sonya, but they are going to fully recast, or they're not going to recast the character. They're going to recast the role. So Kate Kane is gone. The Batwoman character is gone. They're going to have apparently they're going to have a Batwoman thing. What the showrunner's name? The ATX Television Festival showrunner Carolyn Dries says she's not going to do a soap opera rewrite, a soap opera recasting. I don't know if you've ever seen soap operas. I've seen them when I was younger, where it's like they replace somebody with a new actor or actress, and they just
Because
show
the
up with
original character, the original actress is probably like pregnant and is taking a week off or something.
or a week off for being pregnant. Nice,
Maybe
but
it's more than that.
a little bit more, maybe 2 weeks.
They
So
switched up Miguel on me. Miguel Lopez Fitzgerald. Did you watch
from
Passions?
no,
That's
oh
a
yeah,
soap
yeah, yeah.
opera.
Way back when it first came out.
Hmm.
When it first came out, yeah, my ex-wife used to watch all those. I remember when they used to recast it. The only person they never really recast was Sonny, which he was just like the best actor in General Hospital. But we are such bitches. It's okay though. But
You are the fire burning inside of me. That's the theme song. Don't be surprised. I got that in me. It's vocals. Do, re, mi, la, ti, do. There's a fa in there that I
yeah,
missed out.
I was gonna say you missed the fa.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, no problem. I'll make fun of you for this. Maybe one of these days you'll make fun of me playing guitar. So what happened? Yeah, so they're not going to recast. They're
Hmm.
actually just going to have a new person come in the role. Now I don't know how they're going to do that. Is it going to be called? Can they call it Batwoman season 2 if that's the case, or will they just continue that universe but with somebody else taking over? Here's what I'm going to make the recommendation for. How about if they were to do, um, oh, for crying out loud, Orphan? because I don't know if you're familiar with the Orphan character or not, but she's Lady Shiva's daughter, and she has her own problems because of the way that her mother treated her. But she is one of the few people who even Batman will say, yeah, if I ever got into a fight with her, she would probably destroy me. Like she has the ability to see a weakness on an opponent or all the weaknesses and know exactly where and how to hit. And it's amazing. And if they were to have Orphan take over, holy crap. They could still call it Batwoman and just have her go in. You know what I'm saying? She played Batgirl.
Is that a
Orphan actually
copy?
took up that role.
Is that one of the things where DC copies one of the Marvel heroes' powers? Like Karnak has that ability, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
But who was first?
Oh, he was way first. Like he was a Jack Kirby, Stan Lee creation back in the Fantastic Four in the pre, 100 issues. I think that was before Galactus came out, if I remember correctly. Yeah, before they introduced Galactus and the Silver Surfer, there were the Inhumans. So it was actually a storyline right before that. And then I think that was even right before the Black Panther also. Like
I bet it was issue
whole
48.
character.
I want to say issue 48 is when the Inhumans debuted.
No, I was actually thinking number 48 myself. First, it was the character Gorgon. But no, actually, the first character was actually Madame Medusa, who eventually became Queen Medusa. And they didn't realize that she was an Inhuman, though. That was when Gorgon showed up. That's when all of a sudden, Among Us hide the Inhumans. Amazing stuff. I think 48 was the Silver Surfer. But anyway, regardless.
52 was Black Panther. Yeah.
There you go. And it was 3 issues, 48, 49, 50. So then 51, 52. Whatever. Anyway, something like that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my personal casting choice. Not for an individual, but for a character. Have Orphan in there. That would be awesome.
Now it's still going to stay a CW show because of the way the contract is written.
Yeah.
Is HBO Max getting any of the CW shows or any of them? Like in the universe.
HBO Max is getting all of them for the most part. HBO Max is doing something really stupid, though. I think I forgot to mention that. Oh, no, it actually is in the segue stuff.
No, yeah, it's in there, and I was going to segue into it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, you did. You did a great job. I screwed up because I was going to segue into something also, but no, it turns out I was actually segueing into what you were segueing. So anyway, HBO Max. I actually wrote on here HBO Max is getting booty. So check this out. HBO Max is already failing, and I'm going to ask you, oh, you got Bootios? Where did you get Bootios?
I got this in a house show. Yeah.
Get
it was like $5. Mm-hmm.
And you pulled this out because I always say booty?
I was waiting for it. Yeah.
That is freaking awesome. That Chillmonger, that is why I needed you in this podcast, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. That is awesome. So anyway, yes, I say booty a lot. I say a bunch of things a lot. What is that? The nutritional content?
Yeah,
that does not look healthy. Magic? What? Unicorn horns? Trombones? That is sick. All right, sweet. Okay, so you guys can check out the video version of this on Tuesday at midnight. So boom, where we should both be there live. Okay. So also I want to say thank you to the person who donated a super chat during that video. Very excellent. I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but Chillmonger was there to answer your question. Also, there was a PayPal donation, and I would genuinely like to appreciate that also. Very cool. Genuine thanks for that.
And thank you to Sergio, who that week that we were talking about eyes and what do you call the Asian eyes, epicanthal folds are what they're called. And it's something that's native. I watched the video on it afterwards.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right. That was 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh, 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We were both there for that, I believe, and talking about it. Yeah, excellent. That's the thing. This is Comic Book University. I'm not just a guy who's going to get up and lecture. No, I do want the interaction. We're all comic book nerds. We all have something to contribute to the conversation. Even if you're brand new, your questions are still contributing to the conversation and elicit thought. So this is, like I said, a full university. Okay. So HBO Max getting booty. On July 1st, they will be removing Justice League, BVS, Suicide Squad, all 4 of the original Batman movies, Catwoman, Halle Berry, Jonah Hex, and The Losers. They'll be keeping Aquaman, Shazam, Joker, Supergirl. That's right. Way back in the day, they did Supergirl, not the TV series, but the actual movie, and the Green Lantern. So right now, all of those are playing. But on July 1st, they'll be removing the first list, but keeping the next list. Right around that time, we'll also be getting, because there was a brand new trailer for the Doom Patrol. Holy crap, that's going to be happening on the 25th of June. So the 25th of this month. Man, another week and a half, baby. I can't wait. But Doom Patrol Season 2 is going to start streaming. That is excellent. But the thing is, like, we're going to be... So we got a lot of stuff now. That was the big tease. But now they're going to be getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and they're going to be cycling through. Like, this month they'll be having these things available. Next month they'll get rid of some of them and then put in these in place. And it'll be like a wheel. So I'm going to ask you.
No, I see what you mean. This is a horrible idea.
Yeah. Do you think that HBO Max is worth keeping if you got it?
Oh, that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say you have to keep this subscription because there's always going to be something new. But it's not really new. It's just your old thing that you're finally making available, which no one else is doing that way, which they think makes theirs special.
Yeah. It may seem like Netflix does that, but in reality, it's just they have a contract to air this for so long. And if the contract is cheap enough and they see enough people are watching it, then they will renew that contract. Unless there's a situation where, I forget which channel it is. I think it's HBO Max, but whatever. Somebody took Friends and they're like, we're not going to allow you to repurchase the contract, because that's a show that they would keep. Netflix would love to keep that. My wife I love Friends. Friends are a great show, whatever. But they said, we're not going to allow the contract to be renewed because we're going to be posting it on this streaming service instead. So, yeah, imagine that. But anyway, yeah, so I don't see them as being worth keeping, especially since a lot of this stuff is going to air on, let's say, the CW or the DC streaming service or whatever, you know?
I don't know. I don't think it's worth it either. I think they're just making a huge mistake. How do we tell them they're making a mistake? I guess just by not having it, right?
By not having the service, yeah.
Maybe there's going to be like a price increase, and then with the increase, they're going to say, now that, right? Because it costs, what, $10 right now? But when they introduce the premium $12 one, it's the one where nothing gets taken off. Because Disney is probably doing the same thing where they are withholding some things from the Disney Plus library. When they do bump it up from $6.99 to their real price, they'll include everything just to make it feel like you're getting something.
I think that if they add a lot more content, they could do that. Here's the thing. I don't think that tiers is the way to go.
No?
I don't think that tiers are the way to go. Like, if you're going to do tiers, you have a paid and then an unpaid version. So I think it's Funimation has the unpaid version where you're going to get a lot of commercials, but you can still watch like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z up to like the first 8 episodes or something like that.
Crunchyroll might have that also.
Oh, yeah. Crunchyroll has that also. Yes.
And Hulu is also one that has commercials, but you pay for it and you get no commercials. Okay. But Netflix and all the other ones, they don't have commercials. So when you're paying for extra, you're paying so that you can use it on 5 different devices.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I don't know, tiers. The WWE Network, they have tiers also. There's actually like a free tier right now where you can watch old episodes of Raw, and there's like a certain few things that are available now for free. Like I can watch every episode of Raw that's ever happened. That's great for free. Now obviously the reason they're probably doing that is because they're anticipating a lawsuit about royalties, about people who signed a Raw contract to wrestle, and because they aren't getting paid for the WWE Network, they want to be able to say, yo, that's not right. But then WWE's going to turn around and be like, well, these Raw episodes are free and we're not making any money off of them, so you have no legitimacy. That's probably
that would be their choice to make it free. They don't have to make it free. Now, so that I don't see that holding up, but what do I know?
What I buy the WWE Network for is for the live pay-per-views at the end of every month. Yeah. That's the main attraction of it. And I believe right now, definitely right now, all the contracts say that they're not getting royalties from the WWE network. Like, it's in their contract that this is not one of them things where we can get royalties from.
That's just disgusting.
They changed that in
WWE
2012.
is a garbage company. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
I enjoy what I'm
who's
saying.
not a garbage company?
WWE is a special kind of garbage company. Going into the politics just so they can make more money and not pay taxes and all that stuff. I understand, but like, I don't know the details of certain other ones. WWE is one that I've watched before, and I only ever get their stuff on YouTube. That's all I do. I don't watch their programming anymore. I'm not subscribed to the WWE network because in Canada it sucks to do that anyway. Because I don't have a regular TV service, so I can't just get the internet version, the app. I can't do that here unless I do a VPN, but whatever. Like, I'm just not interested. And so with this being one of the ones I watch, like, they are such a garbage company, man. They don't freaking pay their people the right way. They don't give them health benefits. Of all the places to not have
hold on a minute though. If I get injured in the ring, they will pay for my recovery.
Oh, that's great. But of course, that's also the platitude. That's what they say. What they can also say is you have to go to our doctors. And if our doctors say you're okay, just look at the CM Punk case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he said that he had, but his problem was that the doctor was stupid and incompetent.
Well, if that's the only doctor he's allowed to go to, then that says a lot about their version of, disability and whatnot.
CM Punk could have stopped and said, "I don't want to wrestle," anytime, which he actually did do.
Look, I hear what you're saying, and I know what you mean. I know you've got a lot of objectionist beliefs and whatnot, but that's not who I am personally. It's always been my opinion. You take care of your employees because it's the right thing to do. And this whole Gilded Age mentality of, you signed a contract, I screwed you over, but you signed the contract, so whatever, deal with it.
That's not what happened with Punk. Punk had a
that's what
tour
they
in
with
Europe.
Other people. Mm-hmm.
Okay, other people, sure.
He got injured. He didn't like the idea that Ryback, who, let's be realistic, I don't care what Ryback says. Ryback is steroid guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I love Ryback, I love all this stuff, but there are some people, that they just can't get a certain way without steroids.
I don't believe he's hiding from that fact. I believe he does admit that he has done steroids.
Did he? Because I think he said that he did, and he took offense to being called steroid guy, whatever. I don't know. But like, especially after the Joe Rogan podcast with Ronnie Coleman that just happened a couple days ago, Coleman was even saying, yeah, you can't get to the size that I had without being on steroids. I mean, come on. Saying like it's painfully obvious. So anyway, just there are really horrible business practices that the WWE partakes in, and I think that's disgusting. One of those things.
Yes.
Matt Cardona.
Yeah, Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder. So Zack Ryder was talking on his figure podcast. He has his little TV show that comes on YouTube with I know his name. I've got his figure.
Brad Myers, Curt Hawkins.
Curt Hawkins. Thank you. I didn't know his real name was Brad Myers. Hawkins is a totally cool guy. Holy crap. I think that you're like Curt Hawkins and I'm like Zack Ryder. I'm the guy with all the energy, and you're the one who's just like,
I'm a losing streak.
Bring it down a little bit. No, we're both losing streaks then. But no, like, what do you call it? You're the one who's always like, yeah, cool. Bring it down a little bit, man. Bring it down. So like we're the balance. And that's pretty much them. Holy crap. But since I love, wrestling figures and all the different kinds of figures that are out there, I watch their show. And he was talking about how he was sitting at his pool the one time with his wife or his girlfriend, Chelsea Green. She's an NXT star. I'm sure you know that, but this was back in April where he got fired. That Zack Ryder got fired. Mm-hmm. And they did that whole thing with what's that little guy's name that got rehired?
Hornswoggle.
No.
Drake Maverick?
Drake Maverick. That was a work. He tricked us all. That was a work. He did crocodile tears. He lied and acted like, he was definitely getting fired and whatnot. No, he was going right to NXT. He knew that was going to be the case. The last 3 matches he had, like, it was acknowledged that, yeah, that was a work. And that's really messed up.
I called it on this podcast.
You 100% did. And I said that would be dirty if he did that. And yeah, it was dirty. That is freaking dirty. Like,
Well, hold on,
people
okay,
getting
wait.
fired.
Is it dirty or is it clever? I appreciate that they pulled the wool over us in the age of 2020, where that's kind of hard to do. I want to give them their credit for that. I will agree with you on a moral and ethnic
There you go.
standpoint. It's
There are
dirty.
people who really lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And here's what makes it worse. Even though they got fired, they still, for no fault of their own, for bad business decisions from the WWE with the XFL round 2, which did even worse this time than the previous time.
Surprise,
Vince McMahon
surprise.
is a garbage businessman. He's horrible at making business decisions. He's horrible at pretty much every single thing that this guy does. He's successful, but sometimes the worst people in the world are the ones who are going to be successful. Look, aside from wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
besides the idea that we all have problems with the storylines and blah 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 and the stupid business decisions, still bringing Nia Jax, still allowing Nia Jax to be what she is with only 2 months training in NXT. Hello, send her back to developmental. She still needs to cook a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? Re-injuring people right, like, dude, Kerry saying, like, there's too much going on, man. Horrible business decisions, terrible business decisions. And he clearly can't do anything outside of wrestling. Let's face it. You know, everything that he's tried, he has failed horribly and lost billions. So he decided to fire a couple people around the same time. Sure, I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Anyway, and then that, dude, but even more, they have the non-compete clause. Zack Ryder, Curt Hawkins, and all these guys, they're not allowed to compete and go to AEW or even private. They've got to sit on their ass, not make any money, and boom.
I believe they're allowed to choose to take that 90 days no compete, get paid, or they can say, nah, screw that, we'll go our own route, and then they can join AEW and everybody. I don't think it's a choice.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not a choice.
Okay.
No, it's not a choice. They have a non-compete clause. They're not allowed to compete anyplace else.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that WWE can still use those characters. They used fake Diesel and fake Scott Hall. Fake Scott Hall's name, Razor Ramon. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so they don't have the non-compete clause. They went and screwed over Brock Lesnar so bad because he got tired of the crap. You remember that? I read his book. They screwed him over so bad. Like, took food out of his plate, said for 5 years, you can't compete since we're letting you out of your contract early.
And then he goes to Japan.
Yeah, and he gets in trouble there. WWE tries to sue and says, listen, we're just going to sue you, and we have enough money to keep on, keeping you in courts forever, and you're gonna lose a lot more money than us, and we can take it. You can't. So they're like, yeah, we can't take you. Like, he said, like, they tried to screw over his MMA career. Like, they screwed him over big time. So, and that's what they do. That's what they do. They go out of their way to screw over their talent. They say that they work for them. They don't work for them. Oh, they're contract, hires, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's baloney, because you can't, if they're just for hire contracts, then how can you turn around and say, okay, but you're not allowed to compete with us and go to private functions or go to gyms or bars and wrestle or anything like that, or another company? Well, then they're employees. Like, just Jesse the Body Ventura had it right, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're a garbage company. So to prove that they're a garbage company, Zach and Chelsea are sitting in the pool, and all of a sudden, Chelsea's like, "Oh crap!" She gets a text, and Matt's like, "Dude, what's going on?" Zack Ryder's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Okay, I just got a text from WWE. They want to use our pool." It turns out it was going to be for that segment with Mandy Rose and the guy from Heavy Machinery, Otis. Yeah, they were going to do that scene there. They didn't do it there, but it's like, yeah, we want to use your pool. So they sent the message to her because she's still employed through NXT, not through the WWE, mind you, because that's where Mandy and Otis are. She's working for them through NXT, which is technically supposed to be separate, right? Separate contracts, separate everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they didn't even ask him. They didn't ask it. So he was pissed off. He talked about this. He's like, I'm really pissed off that they actually like you could fire me. I'm stuck sitting on my ass for a 90 days no compete clause where I can't make money now. And then you contact my girlfriend or my wife and say, can I use your pool? Like that is a garbage company, dude. Wow.
And it doesn't matter who's writing. It doesn't matter who's in charge. They fired, or they didn't fire, but Paul Heyman is no longer head writer of Raw. It's going to be Bruce Prichard writing SmackDown and Raw. He's been promoted. And Paul Heyman is just going to be a talent. In-ring talent is what they call it. It doesn't matter. It's Vince's company. It's Vince's show. 100%.
But you know why they did this? Because it's one less. No, it's one less competing voice. You see, Bruce Prichard is a yes man. I still listen to the Jim Cornette podcast. You know what I'm saying? And these two are actually really good friends with each other, but they're also honest with each other. You know, and Bruce will make fun of Corny, and Corny goes and mentions, he's like, yeah, dude, there's no better. If Prichard's face was really that red when he was playing Brother Love, it's because he had his face so far up Vince's butt that it cut off the oxygen flow or the blood flow to his face. Like he's just a yes man. So anybody else in that role is going to say, well, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. And Vince will say, no, let's do this. Prichard is the guy who's just going to say, okay, boss, let's do that. So yeah, that's all that is. And yeah, as much as I really liked his podcast, it is what it is, man.
It's no comic book university podcast.
This is true. One more thing about the WWE is I hate that I got to promote them now with all this garbage. They are finally making a Bray Wyatt figure, The Fiend. They're finally making a Fiend figure, and of course I've got to get it. It's going to be a WWE Elite figure, which means it's going to have a lot of movement. It's going to come with an extra set of hands, so it's going to come with the regular Kung Fu grip. It's also going to come with the open hands, so he can do the heel and hurt thing to his ears. I don't think it's going to come out the right way because it's only got single joint in the elbows when most of them have double joint. So he's just going to be able to go like this, and you got to kind of wiggle it and finagle it to make it look like he's putting it to his ears, but it won't come all the way to his ears. But it's also going to come with the lantern. So that's cool.
I can hear the music playing now.
Yeah.
Matrix Part 4.
Oh, the Matrix Part 4. That's something else. Let me. No, that's right here. So Matrix Part 4. Empire Magazine, very well known for their conversations about movies and upcoming movies and interviews with movie stars. They talked to Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, Neo and Trinity specifically, who died at the end of Episode 3.
Spoilers
for a movie that came out years ago, decades ago, whatever, a decade ago. They're both going to be re-upping their roles as Neo and Trinity for Part 4. Not sure exactly how this is going to work. Originally, it was supposed to be a Morpheus prequel, which would have been cool, but I don't know. Anyway, so they're going to be in this movie. Keanu Reeves has a couple quotes and says, I'm paraphrasing for the most part, Lana Wachowski wrote a beautiful story and a wonderful story that resonated with me. He also says the story has some meaningful things to say, and I think and that we can take some nourishment from. And then Carrie-Anne Moss says that this movie is actually a gift. This sounds like some SJW crap to me. So I'm going to speculate a little bit now. Matrix is a place where it's like it's in your head, but it's actually someplace else, but you can be everything that you actually want to be, the real you, as you imagine yourself. And Lana Wachowski was originally one of the Wachowski brothers. She transitioned into a female. So I'm getting the feeling, and mind you, I don't believe that the Wachowskis were successful in anything that they've done aside from the Matrix trilogy. So them coming back to the Matrix could be a good thing, or Lana, coming back to the Matrix trilogy could be a good thing. If the whole thing is going to be like her expressing what she feels about, what's it called? Transitioning. If Kiana and Carrie-Anne both like it, I'm hoping that means I'm going to like it too. I already have the feeling that's what it's going to be about. I'm okay with it. I'm definitely cool with it as long as it's not going to be like a statement and it's going to be, this is what you can easily glean off of what I'm doing, because you could almost feel that way with the Avatar movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be that. I'd prefer to be that. This is my better self. Dude, and it was made permanent. I could see that in there, but it wasn't pushed. You know what I'm saying? If she could do the same thing with this movie, boom, this could be a totally awesome movie. It could also be really tropey, and it could also be one of those special episodes of Webster kind of movies. So, yeah, I don't know where else to go with that, man. There's a lot of red flags going, especially since Lana hasn't done anything really good since The Matrix. So this could go either way for me.
The thing with Matrix is the first movie had a lot of cutting edge tech, a lot of unique things that they did. This fourth one better also have that, because it's what?
Yes, yeah. Not just bullet time. Because did you see that in the theaters when it first came out?
I didn't see that in the theaters. No.
Oh,
TV movie.
Nobody knew anything about The Matrix. Mind you, this came out the same time that Riddick, Pitch Black, the original Riddick movie, Pitch Black came out. I saw those were the two movies that blew me away that year. Because I didn't look at any trailers for Riddick or for Pitch Black, and when it came out, I was like, "Oh my God, this is epic!" You know. But with The Matrix, there was nothing put out. Only a couple little things for websites, because websites were fairly new. They were a new concept at the time, so they'd have all these hidden. Go to the website and what is thematrix.com, and you try and spy certain things, and like, oh man, if you click here, something else comes up, but it's hidden, and it's like it was cool. It was nobody had ever done something like that before. It was amazing. It was amazing. So when I went and saw it in the movie theater, and that first scene when Trinity jumps up and she's going to do that kick that she does in every single one of the movies, everybody in the movie theater was like, holy crap! Nobody knew what to make of that. It was so revolutionary. They didn't really have that in the next two movies. They didn't have something groundbreaking, just the same stuff rehashed. Really good movie. I still like part 2 and 3. Yes, I also like part 3. Deal with it. Didn't like it as much as part 1, but I still liked it. It had a lot of great things to say. I liked it. But they didn't have any new cutting edge tech that would make me go, wow. So if they could have something cutting edge for part 4, that would really help too.
Give us a reason to go to the theaters, or else we'll lose them. That's the idea here. Remember
Absolutely.
the debate we were having 3 weeks ago, was it?
Oh,
about
yeah.
AMC and everything?
3 and 4 weeks ago, because it was brought up again the following week after we originally had it. It's a big deal. Let's do it again. So
what do you got to say this week?
Well, movie theaters are set to reopen in July. That's a good thing. Universal still has a ban. Is still on the ban list for AMC and the UK. Excuse me, the UK version of AMC, which is called Odeon. So yeah, AMC is still has a ban on the Universal movies. So that's going to kind of suck for both of them. I mean, when you think about all the movies that have come out from Universal, it's like, you really want to lose that much money? That doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay, sure. Who's going to be hit the hardest? When there are only really 3 movie theaters, or not theaters, 3 movie studios out there for the most part, and you're going to cut 1/3 of your profit.
You know who else should be cutting them off? All the other movie theater chains. They should also be cutting off Universal. What AMC is doing is correct. Universal needs to say, oh, sorry guys, okay, we'll give you guys priority for the first 2 months of a film before we take it into the digital market. Sorry guys, that's what they need to say, but they're not. So shout out to AMC.
Cool.
I disagree, but I need to change the topic because it's going to be a long podcast.
No, your shout out is fine, but there's also supposed to be a buyout.
Who's buying AMC?
You know who's buying AMC.
Well, I asked for the podcast listeners. Amazon is buying AMC.
Well, don't say they are. It's not definite. They're bidding. They're saying, hey, might you guys be for sale?
Okay, who outbids Amazon?
Exactly. Here's the thing. There's going to be this is one of the ways that monopolies get over trust or get through the trust rules, because they are a monopoly. Let's just be realistic. There might not be legally called monopoly, but there are lots of ways to change laws to make things that are illegal suddenly legal. It still doesn't
Happens
make
all the
them
time.
moral. Oh, it happens every single time. So they've already got not Hulu. Amazon Prime. They've got Amazon Prime, which is a digital streaming service and whatnot. But now they want physical locations also. So now they want to get into theaters and they want to own theaters. So they're thinking about buying out AMC, which would also include Odeon in that. So this is the very early stages. This is just them making their claims known. And AMC, which is a very outspoken company, did not say no. They didn't say no outright. Let's look at it that way.
That's happening. I don't know. The only one who I can possibly see outbidding is Jeff Bezos' ex. Take her. How much billion did she win over?
46 billion, if I remember correctly. It might only be 42 billion. But
that's a law that needs to change. How do you take $46 billion? There should be like a $1 million limit, and even that's too much. But like, if you're gonna split up with a man, fine. He's really rich. You're getting this 1 million. Skedaddle.
Like, this is something where I do have to look at it as you did make the choice to marry this person.
Exactly.
And he made the choice to marry you too. I get it. But like, so anything where it's like, no, I put my career on hold. That's on you.
So that's like, on you. You better watch what you signed, even when it comes to marriage contracts.
Yeah, big time.
It's bad.
Big time.
What's the point of marriages other than like when they divorce you, they can take your money? What is really the point of a marriage anymore?
Well, for poor people, nothing. But for rich people, though, it is a way to combine wealth. That's actually what marriage was always originally an institute. Like when you look at the Jane Austen books and whatnot, they explain it. It's a way to combine wealth of two families and to keep the wealth in certain families, or like, it's like a company merger in many ways, The firstborn especially would always inherit, the firstborn male would always inherit the wealth. The other sons would have, if there were other sons, would have to go out and earn their money. But of course, they'd earn it with a lot of privilege. Like, hey, I want to join the military, but since I come from this family, I want to start off as a Navy captain, which is the same as a full bird colonel anyplace else.
But all of this wealth and going to your lineage, can't that just be done with a will? You say in your will, when I die, my wealth will go to kid A and wife B.
Yeah, there was wills through inheritance and things like that. Yeah, of course, absolutely. But the way that it was always done in society, and nobody questioned it, because nobody questions. Like, it's a conservative, methodology that you don't question it. You just, this is the way it's always worked. So
I see the religious reasons for marriage, but the legal reasons now.
The religious reasons weren't really as religious as we'd like to think that they were. England got rid of the Catholic faith and went into the Church of England, the COE, because they're like, because the king, King Henry VIII, I believe, he's just like, what do you mean I can't get divorced? You let me annul my first marriage. I want to annul all my marriages. No. Okay, well then you're not in our religion anymore. Hey, let's start a brand new religion, Church of England. Cool. Hey, gonna get married? Yeah, and that's how that happened. So
that's called bid'ah. We were talking about that on Discord.
the Arabic word for innovation in religion. Yes, actually, bid'ah is actually not a negative word except in religion, because bid'ah is actually permissible outside of religion.
Sure.
Making inventions and things like that, they're welcome in the idea of Islam, as long as it's not in the religion. But you brought it up, not me. Final thing about movie theaters, Captain Marvel. Our friend Captain Marvel.
Yeah, our $1.1 billion maker, yeah.
Yeah, that one. That was the first movie that didn't go into IMAX 3D. See, IMAX 3D we have IMAX here, like, around us we have our own IMAXs and whatnot, but we have IMAX 3D, and then there's IMAX 2D. IMAX 2D is just, here's the screen, whatever. You might as well go to D-Box. You might as well go to the other thing where it's like the seats move and all that cool stuff instead. But the IMAX 3D is a special kind of cool because you can actually see 33% more of the movie, not in terms of length, but of the screen. All of these movies, like every single one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, were shot with IMAX cameras. That's just a deal that was made with IMAX and the MCU, you know? So they can actually see 33% more of the screen. Think about that. 1/3 more of the screen is visible if you're watching it on IMAX 3D. That's a whole new experience. Captain Marvel was the first one that didn't do that. So it actually pissed off a lot of people. The Reddit boards are infuriated about it. But that being said, it is now going to be available to the very select few people who bought the IMAX home movie experience. First time I saw that was in Saudi Arabia. A lot of elaborately rich people in Saudi Arabia. And I'm like,
Really?
I can't afford that on my salary. You know what I'm saying? Or I could, but I'm not going to be here forever, so why would I? But that being said, it's an amazing setup where it's like you can actually see regular 3D movies from your home, and it's interactive, and like, you know, the wave of the hand, you know, the smart TVs. I don't know what else they've done, what new innovative technologies they've included in it today, but this we're talking about back in 2012, 2013. You know, saying they had all that stuff when I was there then. So who knows what they can do now? But the movie will be available IMAX 3D for home movie theater users.
I watched Captain Marvel in an IMAX theater. There was a scene where I noticed things were things were large and filling the IMAX, and then they went to another scene and it all went back down to normal and it undersized. So not every scene was shot with those IMAX cameras.
Yep.
It's somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And it's going to be available for home theater users who have the IMAX at home thing. Yeah. Nah, dude, go to D-Box with me. It costs more, but like the seats, they're much roomier. I turn off the motion control. I'll get sick if I'm on that stuff. But the extra room, oh God, it's great. Much more comfortable seats. I'm telling you, it's worth paying 20 Canadian for them.
I'm there, eh? I'll pay the extra money for these movie theater seats because I want to get the moving chair, even though I don't like it. But I get the fragrances, I get the wind, I get everything. Screen X and IMAX and all that stuff. I know that I will not be able to duplicate this experience again because I'm not a Saudi Arabian with the IMAX money. So I'm going to appreciate those 3D glasses and everything that comes that you can get at the theater.
Yeah, definitely.
Star Wars.
Yeah, worst segment ever. But yes, I noticed it myself. So Star Wars. My kids and I just watched recently on YouTube, which is the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel. The first 2 episodes are out of Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge. This is basically just a free plug for these guys because this is awesome. You remember who Ahmed Best is?
Jar Jar.
Yep, Jar Jar. He is a Jedi now in this TV series where it's basically a game show for kids where they have to compete there's 3 different teams and they whittle it down to 1 team and they see if this one team can complete a challenge at the end. They all have to eliminate each other to actually become Jedi Padawans. And my kids were so enamored by this. I was watching it just like, dude, this is cool. So Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge. That's what this is. It was kind of epic. I loved it.
Did you catch the Mandalorian gallery?
Oh, did they have a new one out? Oh, you don't. We got to have a conversation about this. I didn't notice if they put up a new one or not. I forgot to look today. Darn it. Yeah, I know you got rid of your Disney streaming service thing.
Because I know that they're not going to take it away out of their streaming service and then put it back 3 months later.
HBO craps. See what I did there? Oh, hey, here's something. So, Baby Yoda has a name. What's his name?
What?
Yiddle, of course. But apparently, second unit director Sam Hargraves let it be revealed that he knows what Baby Yoda's name is. I mean, it's freaking Yiddle. I don't know why they don't just announce it. But anyway, yeah, he said that he knows. And so that means that, I mean, if he's just the freaking second unit director, that means all these guys know. They're just not spilling the beans. So they already knew what the character's name was. Will it be revealed in season 2?
Okay, you're assuming second unit director is telling the truth. That's that type of stuff that I know I can get away with. Yeah, I know. I sure know what it is. Can't tell you though, because it's only us top secret guys. Sorry about that, buddy. He's just trying to be the cool kid in school.
Could that be the case? Could that be the case? I literally looked at this as, who cares? I literally looked at that, and you made it even crappier than I could make it. Wow. Kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. Here's a golf clap. But yeah, oh man, just yiddle. It's freaking yiddle. Just do the yiddle. Give me something. Throw me a bone. Hey, did you hear about the Flash?
What do you do?
Oh no, nothing. The Flash didn't do anything. But on the CW, actor Hartley Sawyer, he made some racist and misogynistic tweets. He's the guy who plays Ralph Dibny, the elongated man.
Out of there. I saw his apology.
Yeah, that crappy ass apology. It's like, I also saw the things that he said.
I thought it was a great apology, but I just don't believe it.
Exactly.
It's everything you're supposed to say.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure his agent took a lot of time writing that. But it's like, you can't say the things that you said, which will not be repeated here, and then turn around and be like, oh yes, I made a mistake. I have learned.
What I said was unforgivable.
Yes. Well, if it's unforgivable, then you understand why you're not being welcome back. Bye.
Out of there.
Love, peace, and hair grease. You know what I'm saying? How you doing? Peace and how you be. That's what we used to say back in the day. Oh man, yeah, I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, Miles Morales is the new video game character. It looks like, from the commercial that I saw, he's going to be the main character of the Spider-Man video game made by Insomniac, same guys who made the game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That game was.
Apparently, this is not going to be a new game though, so it's not going to be necessarily a DLC, but it's not going to be a brand new video game. It's going to be something that you can still get through. Like, it sounds like a DLC.
You sure about that one?
This is what's being reported, because the way that they announced it, and you're going to get into this later. This was a very quick, spur of the moment announcement where they didn't go into a lot of details with this. They didn't say this is Spider-Man 2, right? They didn't say this was Spider-Man, no, they just said, the Miles Morales is coming to the Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be on PS4 and PS5. Like, it's going to be available for both. The PS5 is coming out when? Sometime in 2020. So, they said holiday 2020. So they're calling it Spider-Man Miles Morales. Cool. I thought that the teaser, it's not really a trailer. The teaser was chillingly good, dude. Like, I got chills. I'm just like, oh, and when they, he's like, go Miles, talk about his dad, and then all of a sudden he's just like, and he does a scream. It's like, oh, that is so Spider-Man-y. And then all of a sudden he breaks into that music, and that was some cool music. I was like, damn, I want to play this so bad. I can't let my kids know about this, because I know they're not going to be able to handle they're 5 and 7. They're not going to be able to handle the regular Spider-Man controls, but they would love to get their hands on a Miles Morales game, man. So I can't let them know this exists.
The timing of this release is perfectly in sync with it. Well, when every company, all of a sudden, they're all about Black Lives Mattering, and they're all pro.
Black Lives Matter.
Oh,
they didn't matter before.
It's something where but now they've got their ears to the floor, and they're really listening now. We're gonna make strides. And so I bet Sony or Insomniac or one of those companies was like, "We're doing something black. Guys, get out the trailer now. Get it out."
Yeah, exactly. They weren't. You could tell they were not ready to put that out, because they, like I said, there's so much confusion about the game itself coming out. Is this a brand new game? Is it a DLC? What is it?
It's a new game, but is Peter Parker dead? Or is the game is called Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? That's what they said?
He's not dead. He's going to be it's just happening simultaneously, but I saw
Peter Parker is a character. Peter Parker will be the character in the video game.
No. This is going to be Miles Morales' version of it. Like, after he becomes Miles Morales, this will be his world, so to speak.
I read it as, this is a Peter Parker and a Miles Morales game. We're only going to show you the Miles part right now to make you feel like it's a Miles thing. We're going to get our points right now. But it's a game with both of the characters as Spider-Man.
All right, cool. And
yeah,
there's so much information out there that, like, it's hard to put it together. Like, the information I looked up, it's the same game, but it's just going to be like a different wave of it. Like, whatever, I don't know. Like, with that whole entire world as it is, they could just keep the open play form and everything, and then turn it into, hey, here you go, whatever. Here's new missions, for Miles specifically.
Mm-hmm. So I'm on Polygon right now, and
Okay.
the headline says PS5 Spider-Man Miles Morales is a
Yes.
standalone game, Sony says.
What is it dated?
A day ago. June 12th.
June 12th. Okay. Maybe that one's right. I don't know. I've looked at so many different
Sony
ones,
said
and
it.
this is what I. Oh, no, Polygon says that Sony said it.
Okay.
Polygon says that Sony said it. Other people reporting that Sony said this instead.
If I wasn't live with you, I'd read the article and show you the exact quote that shows you. But
okay,
right.
cool. But anyway, whatever.
Punisher.
I hope that you're right. I hope that you're 100% right.
The Punisher comic book.
Yes, the Punisher. Okay, this is going to be something else. So that's actually back here because I didn't put them in order this week. Jerry Conway, one of the 3 co-creators. It's Jerry Conway, John Romita Sr., and Ross Andrew are the creators of the Punisher. So Jerry Conway partners up with this program called Skulls for Justice, where obviously he doesn't have the license to do what he wants with Punisher, but he is drawing he's got people drawing skulls. They're going to be putting out a new one every 2 days. Some kind of a skull that doesn't quite look like the Punisher, but it's a skull,
Mm-hmm.
where it's going to be all for Black Lives Matter. Like everything's going towards Black Lives Matter, from T-shirts and stuff and whatnot, and because they're trying to co-opt it from cops, because a lot of cops have actually been putting that on their cars and whatnot, which is just damn dirty. As former military, I do know that some of the military men do it also, and that makes more sense, but I still don't want to see that, because we have rules of engagement. And I've said this before, we have many more rules of engagement and much more firm and applicable, like enforced rules and punishments if we step out of line as soldiers in another country.
There should be like a pipeline from military to police, is there?
No, there's not.
No.
And I agree there should be.
Yeah, they're much more disciplined.
100%. And we can let things roll off our shoulders a whole lot better. And we actually understand the way that weapons work, as opposed to here's new toys, whatever. I know this is becoming a little bit political, but I've always maintained that the training that I got in the military was far superior by, like, there's barely even a margin. I can't make a percentage. It's so far superior to what cops get that, yeah, boom, done. If you are a cop out there, we could talk. You could be upset, if you want. I know lots of cops. I know a lot of soldiers I know 2 soldiers who have actually become cops. I have a family member who's a retired cop. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate cops.
What's the retirement age for a cop?
I don't even know if they actually have a retirement age. I know that we have 20 years. You can get out with early retirement in the military, because that's something I actually have direct experience with, as opposed to, my great uncle doesn't want to be, just doesn't feel like being a cop anymore. He's old. He reached the age of retirement. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, he was a cop at 64?
No. He's in his 60s now. I don't know if he's 64, but he's in his early 60s. So.
When did he leave?
He left about 4 years ago.
So he was still a cop in his 50s?
He left about the same time that I left Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was about 4 years ago.
Interesting.
But anyway.
Punisher and...
So this is, I want to bring this discussion around. Do you think that the Punisher, comic book fans are going to get pissed at hearing this, do you think that Punisher should stop having... Marvel should just stop doing the Punisher?
No.
With all the co-op that's on it, do we want... Because the only way to really get the Punisher back, if they even could, would be to... I think that the only way to actually denounce what the cops are doing with Punisher would be to denounce the Punisher, to denounce the character. I believe John Romita Sr. is still alive, which would be really disrespectful. Jerry Conway, I'm sure, would be okay with it. I don't know about anybody else, Ross and Drew or anybody, but...
That's not going to stop the cops from celebrating. Now they have full ownership of the Punisher. Oh, Marvel's not doing Punisher? Or he's one of our things now.
No, it would still take like 50 years. I think 50 years before they could do it. Because
Okay,
realistically,
legally, but they're still going to wear the
oh yeah,
T-shirt. Yeah, of course.
oh yeah, stuff like that.
After 50 years, the copyright expires and it's free to reign or something like that. No, you don't get rid of your Punisher. Actually, you make Punisher the opposite of what these cops are. These crooked policemen.
See, that's what I'm afraid of. What if now all the Punisher stories are just about, what's going to be labeled as SJW stuff?
Okay, fine. At the beginning of every comic book, you say FTP. Not exactly that, but like something in politely put, Punisher is a person who's against cops, and Punisher is against bad things, even when it comes from cops. And he's blah blah blah. You know that preamble, so you can put that in there in every book. There, boom.
That could work. That could absolutely work.
You don't got to get rid of a successful character. That is crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm a philosopher. You know what I'm saying? I just open it up to discussion, and let's not be afraid to talk about a subject, So yeah, like I don't necessarily want to see Punisher walking around with a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, but I wouldn't mind seeing him walking around with a Black Lives Matter t-shirt.
I'll take a variant. I'll take a cover that has him wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt.
Ooh, that would be cool, yeah.
Not even variant, just like make that the official cover of whatever next comic book is coming up. Just so that Marvel can let these guys know we're not with you cops.
No, make it a variant, because you can usually charge more for variants. So then you can have a bunch of that go towards like Black Lives Matter or whatever.
It's less available if it's a variant.
No, you can make a whole bunch available, and you can make them. You say it so that people can actually pre-order, because there's always the pre-order dates.
I guess you're right. Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of that. So definitely
business opportunity.
Yeah, put up
you
for
see
10
the Wednesday. You see the Wednesday comic book covers that Marvel put out. They're trying to tell DC F you because
FDC.
There's another one. So they got variant covers, and all it says is on sale Wednesday. I like that. I like that. It's a little competitive fight between the two companies, and it's also something that I agree with, guys. Everyone else is releasing their comics on Wednesdays. You're over here making yours available on Tuesday. My LCS now has to go to the warehouse, the airport, twice. Well, come on, guys. Cut them some slack.
Yeah, I'm going to readjust my headset here.
It's that easy.
Oh,
You're making people's lives difficult, all to be one day ahead.
Yeah, to be different. To get what you think is going to be an advantage. Like DC has just been making terrible decision after, not even bad decisions, terrible decisions, day after day after day. I think that at the end of the day after day, we're going to have to recognize Jim Lee just doesn't know what he's doing. This dude needs to make a big, long sound. That is the sound of Jim Lee pulling his head out of his own sphincter. Like this guy, he's not qualified to be in this role. He is just screwed up over and over again. Every single thing that this guy's done. Just make this guy an artist again. Let him make his money doing art. That's what he's good at. That's what he likes doing. Mm-hmm. You put people in their strengths. I don't understand the allure of this.
I'm confused too.
Yeah. I forgot to also mention the Snyder Cut thing. Ray Fisher, the guy who played Cyborg, he actually read for the role of Finn. In Star Wars.
Oh.
He didn't realize he was writing for it. He was talking about the differences between the two. He didn't realize that he was actually reading for that role, because Disney, they didn't want to let any of that information out. Like I recently put up this thing on my channel. I told you what it is. Don't say what it is. But I put up this thing, hey, are there any people who are psychologists or who study psychology? I would like to talk about making a video with you, doing a little project with you. And some people put up, what's this for? If I wanted to say what it was going to be for, I can assure you I would have put what it was for. It's for a video. That's what it's for. And if I think that what you're doing is good, if I think that you can actually contribute to it, then I will bring you in as a project. If not, you can wait for the video to come out. It's as simple as that. I don't even think that was hard to do. I was actually a little bit taken aback. I looked, I was like, did people actually ask me what's this about?
It's not that ridiculous of a question.
I guess because I'm almost 45 years old. I'm old. I don't know, man. Like I grew up in a different generation. If I will give you the information I'm comfortable with giving you with, and you asking further questions about it does not make sense.
Well, that person is so interested in you and your.
And more than that, this person didn't even say, these people didn't even say, well, I studied psychology for such and such and such.
No, they're just curious. They want to know what's coming.
What's it about? None of your effing business. That's what it's about.
They're the people watching. They're concerned or they're interested in what's coming.
So I'm sure that they'll understand why I did not respect. Here's my response.
All you got to say is, I can't say.
For every single one of the people who do that?
Well, it's up to them to see that you replied to that comment. Yeah.
Nah, nope, not interested. So I'm replying here. I'm replying here. Like I said, I'm not offended. I'm not like whatever. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. And I look at this like, wow. And maybe this is just my boomer moment. I'm actually Gen X. I'm not a boomer. But I literally just look at this as, wow. Like, I was just raised differently. My boomer parents would have been like, if I would have asked a question, it'd be like, I told you exactly what you need to know. Being in the military, I told you exactly what you need to know. Being in the martial arts, I told you exactly what you need to know. Now you just do it.
They're on the internet. They are asking.
They absolutely are. So I was just shocked at that. But anyway, I'm only mentioning that because Ray Fisher didn't need to know more. He simply applied for the role. They asked him a bunch of questions, blah, 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 blah. And they basically said, well, you're not the right fit for this role that we thought that you might be a good one for. So bang, done. He's not mad at them because they hired another person who was not a known actor. And then he went on instead, and he mentions afterwards, he mentions this tweet that he wanted to give, what was it? He thanked Zack Snyder for not just giving him a role, but for empowering him with a seat at the table. I don't fully understand what that meant, but okay. I don't think that he gave him creative control, but maybe he gave him some creative input. And he certainly was hired as a brand new fresh face actor instead of, this guy's got, Academy Awards and blah, 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 whatever. So Snyder actually responded to him and he said that you're the heart of my movie. The whole reason why I'm even bringing this up is because of that last line.
We're going to get a whole lot more cyborg scenes.
Yes, exactly. How exactly? Because I saw the Whedon cut. Well, not even the Whedon cut. This is the DC cut. This is the movie that DC wanted, that DC approved, that Warner Brothers wanted and approved and told Whedon, hey, man, this is what needs to happen. And by him saying he's the heart of the movie, I saw just a robot. That's all I saw. I love the Doom Patrol version of Cyborg way more. I love the Booyah version of Cyborg from Teen Titans way more than I love Ray Fisher's Cyborg. Such a booty character. But if Zack Snyder is saying you're the heart of my film, I can't. Bootio's appearance again. I can't wait to see what he's going to contribute to the Snyder cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah. Wow, that is big news.
Don't get your hopes up. I remember at Star Wars Celebration last year, J.J. Abrams was talking to the crowd, and they brought up Rose Tico, what's her name? Kelly Marie Tran.
Yes.
And he's like, of all the things that Rian Johnson has left me with, that's the shining star, and she's the brightest part of, the best part. Okay. 2 2s later, the movie comes out, and she's not in it. I think her screen time was less than 3 minutes. And you saw him give her all this praise at Star Wars Celebration. Applying that logic, what Snyder says about Booyah Cyborg probably doesn't hold a lot of water. Don't expect him to be the heart of the movie.
Maybe, because this is pre-filmed stuff that he still got. Kelly Marie Tran was so put off by the Star Wars so-called fans that she was just like she left Twitter, she left social media. Nobody should ever be put through that, where they have to leave their own social media. That's just disgusting. So she didn't want to have anything else to do with it, but she was contractually obliged, so they allowed her to just...
It took a minute. It took an hour and 24 minutes, but we finally have a disagreement. If you're a celebrity, you are subjected to Twitter hate and all the social media hate.
What
that
movie
you're
was
gonna
she
get.
in before that?
Nothing that I know of.
So she's a celebrity?
Well, she's a celebrity now. She's on Star Wars.
People don't have to be tough. I served in the military, in the American military, and I knew that only 7% of Americans served in the military. And I signed up specifically because I know that not everybody can be tough. Not everybody's going to have the heart to, so-called take a bullet, because I never had to take a bullet. You know what I'm saying? I never did anything like that. But not everybody can be that. I know there's a lot of people, not even a lot of people. Sorry, I select few people. One of them is a comic skater who talks about, I was in the military, and when I was in the military, we had a tougher skin, a thicker skin. Yeah, but you're not in the military, and most of these people are civilians. And we in the military learn how to say sir and ma'am when we meet civilians, when we're outside of the military. We learn to be respectful. We learn these different things. And saying that you were made tough in the military, real tough guys don't need to say that they're tough. That's never been a question on the table, on anybody's table. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly Marie Tran signed up to be an actress in a Star Wars movie. She didn't sign up to be in the military or to be a boxer or an MMA fighter or a punching bag.
And I'm saying that when you sign up to be an actress in a movie, you're also signing up for that hatred or just the relationship you can possibly have if you had a bad movie. No,
not that kind of vitriol, man. These people were.
It was a really bad role.
Orange.
It was a bad role in the biggest franchise that's ever happened. The
I
racist
didn't have a problem
things
with her role.
I can't get behind.
Yeah.
The things that she's born an Asian woman. Like, you leave her alone on that one. But she sucked, or her role stunk. She knocked over Finn at the end of the movie. We're gonna save what we love. Her stupid little line, kisses him, and then she gets dropped to the next movie. So it shows you like the direction that we're going.
Again, the second movie or the next movie is the next movie.
Right.
But in that movie in and of itself, yeah, I agree. The whole thing at the end, I didn't say it was a perfect role. What I'm saying is, I don't think that she deserved that, and that wasn't in a contract. There, come on, man. You're the one who's always talking about, no, you signed the contract. Where was the clause in that contract? Where's the fine print that says she has to put up with that crap?
No, it's pretty much known that when you become an actress in a popular movie, the feedback you're going to get from it.
You are wrecking every single one of your arguments from this point on.
That's not true. Because there's nothing in your military contract that says you need to be tough skin for the feedback you're going to get. There?
That's not the way that a military contract works, but going in it, you're told before you go in it, it's known that you're going to be broken down. They're going to insult you. They're going to talk about your mother, your father.
Likewise for a Star Wars role.
No.
Ben Affleck got that too when he became Batman.
No.
That happened. He was.
Yeah, I know that stuff has happened, but that's different from this is what we're going to do to you, as opposed to, you should probably expect such and such and such. No,
because the movie's going to really stink.
How old was she? How old was she? You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like, I'm going to bring politics into this. This sounds to me like I've seen a lot of people who are hardline Democrats. You know what I'm saying? The liberals, like, blue till I'm blue in the face, vote blue no matter who. When Bill Clinton was in office, he had a little fellatio from Monica Lewinsky. And the thing that I heard so much before there was social media or anything like that, at the best there was AOL chat rooms. There were people, to my face, they would say, she knew what she was getting into. She knew what she was doing. It's like she was 20 or 21 years old when that happened. How old was Bill Clinton? He was elected the president of the United States. Did he not know what he was getting into? Why is this all put on the woman? Why is that what happened here? No, he was impeached. He got impeached. That doesn't mean he was kicked out. He was a president. He got reelected. He was a president for 8 full years. He was impeached, but he wasn't removed from office. There's a difference between the two. You're Canadian, so I understand that you're not going to know the the American way that works. But dude, no, he survived impeachment. He wasn't removed from office.
Oh, my bad.
There's a big thing about Ken Starr being a joke, and nowadays Ken Starr with the whole impeachment thing for Trump is like, like the hypocrisy back and forth. But
so Monica Lewinsky knew what she was asking for.
Yeah, that's what they're arguing. A 22-year-old intern is supposed to be even more responsible than the president of the United States because that's our fearless leader. Like
how about they both knew what they were asking for?
No, you can't put the same burden on a 21-year-old person as you can on an old, person who is elected to be the president as opposed to somebody who's hired for a job. Like there's that boss and employee relationship. Now imagine the president of the United States. Like, I know you're Canadian, but like, dude, the most powerful office in the world, the position of the most importance in the world, and a freaking intern. I'm sorry, there's a huge difference. So anybody who argue that is one of those insane libs who's just the same exact people who are just like, Trump is good. I don't care about those things that are bad. You're insane. You're an insane conservative or insane Republican. I bask in being an independent. You know what I'm saying? The idea that Kelly Marie Tran should have expected that she was going to get any kind of backlash, at least off that kind of backlash for just taking a role in a movie, like to me, that's just so absurd, dude. That doesn't make any kind of sense. And I can assure you, in all of our future arguments, every time a contract is brought up, I'm going to mention this.
But when did I mention contracts? You mentioned contracts.
Yeah, you always talk about. No, you always mention.
In the Kelly Marie Tran discussion, I didn't talk about contracts.
We just earlier on we were talking about okay, whatever. You're convoluting this. You said that you should expect. I was like, no, it's not in a contract, and you're like, no, it technically is in this, social kind of contract, whatever. It should be expected, whatever. It's cool, man. I'm gonna bring this stuff up again. All
right, next time on episode 21.
Oh, that's right. You're going down. Bring up your objectionist ideas, man.
I don't call it objectionist ideas either. That's you putting a title on me. I'm chill.
No, I'm putting an idea, a concept, or a name on those specific thoughts.
Go ahead.
You're having.
I choose to stay away from labels like that.
It's all good, man.
Because then you're gonna take an objectionist like so and so from such and such.
What language do you speak?
English.
That's a label.
I try to avoid these labels if I can.
Okay, then you speak a goofly-doo. I don't know what language you speak, dude.
I think the people understand where I was coming from, and
I'm taking the thought. I'm taking that thought to the next logical conclusion. What else do we have?
That was all of it. Unless you wanted to rant more about Excalibur.
No, I'm good. I did that on my live stream. Do you have a headcanon?
Next week.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we're an hour and a half in.
I said this was going to be long. Okay, you're sure?
Yeah.
All right then. You know what? When you get all this fan backlash from not having one, just remember, you signed up for this. You signed up for it.
I'm the one who can. Yeah, I constantly made a headcanon segment of the show for the last little while. I'm missing now. And they if they want to have it, they might voice their opinion and say, chill, I don't care how long the show goes, I need my headcanon moment. And I'll say, okay, I understand exactly where you're coming from because I'm logical. Likewise, Kelly Marie Tran needs to realize her role stunk in the movie. It was that thought was validated with her minimal role in the next movie. The studio acknowledges it. The fan base told you about it. Some of your cast members know it, but they're too polite to say it.
Oh, come on. Okay, so this is your headcanon.
Yeah, there you go,
This
guys.
is your headcanon. Are you kidding me? Like, you've seen the contracts. You've seen the behind the scenes. You were the fly in the wall for the Disney Insider where they're like, her role stuck so bad on that. Let's not put her in the next movie. Maybe, I said maybe she just didn't want to be in the next movie, so they gave her a minimal role. And you're like, no. They said she sucks so bad. Wow. Okay. There is Chill's headcanon.
Maybe she didn't want to be in the next Star Wars movie. Okay. That's a new one.
Yeah, maybe she said, she's like, I don't even want to be an actress anymore. I don't want to be an actor anymore because she said this, you know what I'm saying? She's so bothered by this. So, hey, is what it is. Anyway, I think that, we're going to choking. I'm
I'll
choking
take it
now.
over from here. My name is Chillmonger. You can find me on YouTube under the nickname Chillmonger. Become my 524 subscriber as Professor Bill chokes over there on the side. His channel is called Comic Bookie University. You already know that because that's what you got to type into your podcast to listen to this thing. We thank you all for joining us today.
Keep going.
We just need you for the outro.
Okay, we'll do it. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.